Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And that wasn't a very dark. You needed like hello.
Hello.
Hello. We're going to talk about Indiana Jones 5 in this article that was written a couple days ago by WDW Pro, who is actually writing for Pirates and Princesses now.
Which is us.
Oh my God, shocker. Shocker. And it's actually getting quite a bit of traffic.
It is.
So we're like, what is going on here? It's
Good job, Pro.
Good job, Pro. So it's been making the rounds, I guess. I don't know who's picking it up exactly, but we are getting quite a bit of traffic off of it. And so we're going to talk a little bit more about it. We talked about it a little bit in the live stream, but I think it warrants its own video because there has been a lot of discussion as to whether or not there will be an Indiana Jones 5 and whether or not anybody actually wants an Indiana Jones 5.
Yeah, I don't really want Indiana Jones 5. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing Indiana Jones like when he was younger, like they did the young Indiana Jones, but like in between that and like the movies. But the 5, no. I don't want to. Sorry.
What is he, like 80 now?
I don't know.
Maybe they'll just like de-age him with computers.
He looks how I feel about them all being older. Like it breaks my heart. It makes me sad in a way. He looks the way I feel.
Harrison Ford just got done watching Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
I thought maybe he watched Rise of Skywalker. But,
The Rise of Skywalker, back to back. They locked him in a room and they said, here, watch these two terrible movies. So we're going to talk about this. And this is actually a follow-up to an article the Pro did a month ago. Talking about the continued chaos of Kathleen Kennedy, which is basically as it's being understood right now from Lucasfilm insiders, Indiana Jones is being deliberately kept away from Kathleen Kennedy so she can't mess with it.
All I see is a tongue twister. How much continued chaos can Kathleen Kennedy cost if Kathleen Kennedy could cost continued chaos?
Wow, that was good.
Thank you.
I couldn't do that.
I'm good with my tongue.
Indiana Jones 5 may be canceled. I'm not even going to answer that, but yes, folks, she is. Indiana Jones 5 may be canceled, coming from WDW Pro. So this is him, not us, but it is on piratesandprincesses.net. You can go read the article for yourself. Recent statements about the lack of a script for Indiana Jones 5 may be just the beginning of a slow, quiet cancellation for Indy 5. Now, we have heard from other news outlets that it's slow going. Like, it's tied up in limbo, and the word on the street is they're doing that to basically run Kathleen Kennedy out of her contract.
Here's the thing, even if they had a script together, it doesn't mean jack crap. How many times have they had scripts and stuff lined up and they're getting ready to start and then there's creative differences in quotes and suddenly it's all thrown out the window to do it again because Kathleen didn't like it or whatever.
Kathy didn't like it. Indiana Jones is a woman now.
I'm waiting for it. Indiana Jones.
David Koepp has been making the rounds with an interview in which he was very careful to emphasize how amicable the breakup was for Steven Spielberg and Harrison Ford's swan song. Now, Steven Spielberg apparently pulled out, and that's kind of a huge blow for Kathleen Kennedy because Kathleen Kennedy was his gal Friday for many, many years. I mean, you look at any movie Spielberg did in the 80s and 90s, and her name was on it. In some
it
capacity,
was. That's, I mean, it's kind of telling. Anyway. Yeah,
and the thing that's sad about that is I actually was excited about Kathleen Kennedy when they announced her because I'm like, oh yeah, I recognize the name. You know, I'm like, she's got street cred. She's been doing this a long time. She's on all these movies we loved as kids.
Hey, I was just like, hey, a woman doing Star Wars is cool. We haven't had that yet, really. And I never thought women weren't fans because women always were fans. I thought it was a nice change. And then the dark times happened.
Yeah. So we're told it was the script that was a problem. Things couldn't come together the way everyone wanted. It was nobody's fault, really. Everything was super polite. That's essentially the message that was sent out about behind-the-scenes turmoil. They never come out and say, yeah, this is a shit show. We don't want Kathleen Kennedy to touch it.
Oh, no. They never are honest. They always are like, somehow, how can we spin this?
In reality, the movie is now hanging by a thread, according to Pro's sources. At this point, it doesn't look like a script has been finalized by James Mangold, and there are no indications he might be filming at any point in the near future. To the point where even Shia LaBeouf is reportedly making a push to get in the film for Jolt to
I saw that, yeah.
Please don't. Just don't. Junior, well, I guess he'd be Junior, gets hit by a bus at the end. We're told other possible actors and actresses are clueless as to why they might get the call for the movie.
Or when. Whether they might get. Whether when or if.
Clearly, things are not as they should be for the film to be in a ready state. More problematic is the pandemic. So, yeah, it says it makes travel to exotic locations difficult and is almost certainly sidelined lead actor Harrison Ford. He's 78 years old, and filming does not seem to be on the table until at least next year. He's going to be 79 or 80 years old. You know, that's crazy. That said, Ford has been cleared once more to continue piloting his planes despite his advancing age. Sources say he's been doing his best to stay in fantastic physical shape throughout the lockdown. But yeah, he's still older, you know.
Yeah.
And we're talking, how long has it been since Crystal Skull? It's been like 13 years.
Has it been that long? Yeah, it's a long time.
It was what?
Squid Game was little.
2007, 2008, something like that.
Yeah, Squid Game was little.
Yeah, so it's been a while, you know. And he was kind of old to be Indy then, but you know, he's way older now.
Yeah, he's a lot older now.
So whereas Kathleen Kennedy has had major losses in the past when it comes to directors either leaving her projects or being fired from them. No,
creative
differences. Kathleen Kennedy's creative differences. Losing Spielberg for Indy 5 was huge. It appears that Indy 5 is in fact hanging by a thread. I don't see it happening.
At this point, I just cut your losses and move on.
Just stop. All the positive spin in the world can't misdirect from the actual truth. Kennedy again failed to keep a project together and on a path to success with the original director. I mean, yeah, to lose Spielberg, who was her buddy for many decades, it might have cost Harrison Ford and the world another adventure with Dr. Jones. Who cares? Will it ever get filmed? You know, I don't know. I don't think I want it. I don't want an Indiana Jones 5.
They didn't really need one after the last one. Kind of wrapped it up mostly. I mean, it was supposed to be like, I guess they were going to pass it off to Shia LaBeouf, but like he's just been Shia LaBeouf. So I don't know. I mean, I could see him going younger, but they did that with the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles. I just think it was a product of its time, and as much as I love Indiana Jones movies, and I love them, I just think that they might have to look at something else. And do not gender swap it and do something else. That's just dumb. Like his long lost daughter. No, don't do it.
God.
Just stop.
Yeah, I think that, again, this is all these movies, I think, were very much a product of their time. And Indiana Jones, I mean, that came, you know, we talked about this in the car coming back from Florida, you know, the boomers who made this stuff. They grew up with the radio dramas and the pulp fiction, and it doesn't mean as much to today's generation. You know, instead of going back to this, I would like to see creators today kind of mine their own childhoods, but a lot of people, they're getting repeats, they're getting reruns. You know, other people's
That's what they're trying to do. They keep trying to mine the 80s, even though a lot of them weren't there, and they don't understand it, and they do it poorly.
Yeah, and God, I get so tired of that. I mean, we see this all the time, especially these journalists that are like, I'm 27, and I'm going to tell you why the 80s were so problematic. It's like, bitch, please, you weren't even there.
Yeah, I know.
You don't know what it was like. But there we go. It's probably canceled. I think it's probably for the best if it is canceled. I don't know. Is there any buzz about Indy 5? Like, most people are like, God, 4 was bad enough. Do we need another one?
I don't know. Apparently, people are looking for information because they've been coming into the blog.
Yeah, they have
for this article. So it's apparently something people are looking for. I just feel bad. I mean, in an ideal world, we'd be able to keep having movies and things that worked, which goes back to that whole idea of using the computer generated.
Actors,
that I guess if they could do that, I could see them doing more. They could do more Indiana Jones movies, but it's not the same thing.
You know what I would like to see instead?
Something new?
Another Sky Captain movie.
Oh my God, Sky Captain was so good.
We need another Sky Captain movie.
But even then, that was so long ago.
Yeah, but Jude Law is still of age to be
Sky Captain, and was it The World Tomorrow?
Yeah.
Was a fantastic movie, so underrated, really well done. I would love to see more Sky Captain. It was like a different version of like this kind of Indiana Jones. I can't talk. But it was really cool. It was like in a different kind of way. It was more like with the sci-fi element to it.
Yeah, it did. It felt a lot like, I mean, there was a lot of like old, Fleischer Studios Superman in there.
Yes.
And especially the robots, and that was like right out of the old serials. But that was that generation those kinds of movies influenced Indiana Jones.
I would love to see more Sky Captain. I think that would be a great idea.
They could do Sky Captain now too, because Sky Captain was filmed almost entirely on green screen. It was mostly computer. Like, you don't have to go out in location. You could get some actors on a small stage and Sky Captain the series on Netflix or something.
Or Rocketeer. I wouldn't mind seeing more Rocketeer, but like not the stupid new animated show they did, but like real Rocketeer and do Rocketeer again and things like that. I would love to see that. There's all these amazing things that are like that same era that are in different ways, and I would love to see Rocketeer. I'd love to see Sky Captain. I'd like to see more Indiana Jones if they could be done in a way that worked, but I just don't know if it can be.
I think it was lightning in the bottle, and I think it's, I think it's I mean, I feel the same way about Ghostbusters. I mean, Ghostbusters Afterlife gives me a little hope, I guess, from what I've seen of it, but still, it's like that.
Can you do it again?
Can you do it again? And I think the answer is no. I mean, Indiana Jones, we got it, and Star Wars, we got when those guys, those boomers, were at their peak, and everybody was craving, entertainment that was kind of a throwback to what they grew up with, or their parents grew up with. And, same with Back to the Future. It was like, we're going back to the 50s.
But he already said we aren't doing more of those, thank God.
Yeah, thank God. And I don't think it can be replicated. The closest thing I think we have now is we do have people that actually grew up in the 80s doing like Stranger Things and stuff like that.
Yeah, Stranger Things is good.
That is kind of a throwback. But even that, like, I don't think they're getting it completely right. It feels. It
did at first, but now it seems like they're just trying to bank on it too much.
Yeah. Yeah, they're gonna be like Stranger Things, the college years.
It'd be like, where they made a joke, Rocky 4000. It's like that. Stranger Things 400. It's gonna be like ridiculous.
Yeah, I want to see some up and coming creators come up with some new stuff. It's gonna mean something to generations going forward because, I mean, Indiana Jones is gonna be timeless, but you can't create it. You can't do this again. Mm-mm. So, I don't know. Anyway, we're going to wrap it up.
Yep.
Okay, so please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.